Welcome to Behind the Main podcast here at Kesman Male Grooming, one of London's most finest barbers. I'm Tony, a barber here at Kesman. You may already know me from my ASMR content on social media. I'm going to be hosting a series of 5 episodes here at Kesman, covering hair, body confidence, self-love and fashion. Today I am joined by Harry, aka Bulge Cafe, who, after many years of feeling uncomfortable and insecure from his hair thinning, decided that he was going to shave his hair off. Harry is now a worldwide influencer who gives men the body confidence they need to be able to shave their hair off and feel proud about doing so. My second guest on the podcast today is Guray Kesman. Guray is a multi-award winning barber with over 16 years experience in the industry and is the founder of Kesman Male Grooming. Guray was also losing his hair and instead of shaving his hair off, decided that he was going to have a hair transplant. Today, we are starting off our podcast with a debate between Harry and Guray on the pros and cons on whether or not to shave your hair off or to have a hair transplant. So, what made you both decide to go ahead with your decisions?
You done it first, so I'll go with you, Harry.
Well, why did I decide to just shave it off?
Yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, look, we'll try to keep it brief, but it is it's a deep and long story. But essentially what happens, you've got to find out you're losing your hair. I think for me, it was probably happened a bit more quick. From where I saw your hair before you got the transplant, it was probably a gradual thing, right?
Yeah.
Whereas for me, do you know what I mean? I was 25, out of nowhere, like, what's going on here? Saw it was thinning, and then it was like a year of just like the worry just ramped up, to the point where I was literally hiding at the back of my university classroom with my back against the wall because I didn't want anyone sat behind me in case they could like see like, is Harry going bald? That's what was like always on my mind. And I just got sick of living my life like that. And so it was really, I was pushed into doing it. I was on the internet. How can I accept this? How can I get over this? Came across a few guys that were like pushing that kind of, you can accept this, you'll be fine, make peace with it. And then my first move was actually, I didn't have the balls, so to speak, to just rip it all off in one go. I went and got like a really high and tight, 0 on the sides, 3 on top, like military haircut, I called it. Because I'd done that in uni before when I was like 18. And I was like, yeah, I quite like this look. So I was like, I'll just go back to that. And that will stop me playing with my hair all the time or like taking pictures, like how bad is it looking? And I've got to be honest, it wasn't even that bad. Like the only person that ever mentioned it was my nan. I went back home, and I literally went to pick someone off the floor. And she had like 2 sons and probably her husband was going bald as well, my dad. And she was like, oh, Harry, you're losing your hair. So she'd seen it before, And I was like, at that point, I was like, yeah, I know. But she was the only person to point it out, ever. So it wasn't even like bad physically. But in terms of like mentally, it was like literally controlling everything I did. So I was like, I can't live my life like this. Got that short haircut and I rocked that and instantly I felt so much better because I was like, right, we're making progress here. I wasn't playing around with it as much. So it was like less and less on my mind. But the problem I had then is it kind of revealed that like all of this was like way thinner than the sides. So like when I kind of looked at it closely, it was like thin where it was like 0. Then it was like thick where it's still thick now. And then like thin. And I was like, oh no. I was like, now I'm worrying about that. So then 2 months after that, maybe 3, I just went into the barber shop where I was going. And I should mention I was going like every week to keep it like fresh. So I was like, oh, I can't keep doing this. And I said to the guy, we debated for like half an hour. He was like, no, you don't need to. I was like, no, seriously, I need to just get rid of this. And I figured in the end, look, he's taken the 0 up to like here. What more is it to just keep that going? To just like do the last bit, which is nothing physically, but mentally, for some reason, that was like a big step, And anyway, ripped it off, and I just felt so much better. But anyway, to really answer your question, it was just a constant worry, like just always playing on my mind. And I was like, 25 years old, and I was thinking, am I really going to live the rest of my life like this? Just worrying about it constantly. So yeah, that was the thing that forced me to do it, so to speak. Push me.
I see. Okay. Well, for me, I think it's about the same sort of age it started, but a bit more
Okay.
gradual.
Yeah.
25, 26 when we had my daughter. For me, it was a lot more gradual. But as I get older, I like, dressing well and looking after myself. And I always thought hair is my identity. And I did think about
Shaving
shaving
it.
off.
Okay.
But to me, doing that was becoming someone else, like almost like giving away my identity and becoming someone else. It's like, I feel like, when I go into different hairstyles, I feel good, I feel fashionable, I give out that certain message about my personality and character. I thought if I shave it off, I can't give that message out.
Yeah.
And also being in the industry, it just didn't feel right for me to shave it off and do everybody else's hair right. And I did think about getting a hair transplant a few years back. One of my friends had it. And the reaction from my other friends was slightly judgmental, like, oh, we had a hair transplant, did you see that? And obviously, I know I'm going into that direction myself. It's a bit of a worry because you kind of see the judgment of others, that what kind of judgment you're going to get from them. And then as the time gets closer and closer, that hair is actually losing a lot more. Now I have a bit of an island in the middle, and then corners are going. You know how it feels. It's like, right, what do I do now? Try and high and tight, taking the fringe back. I'm working with it, I'm actually, every time I have a haircut, I feel better. But like you said, you need to be on top of it like a weekly basis to make it look good. And then in the end, I just, bite the bullet and just literally just went for the hair transplants. And just literally just to make myself keep going as a person, like as who I am, just to not give up on my identity, because I feel like hair is part of me. Like in Turkey, we say your clothes starts from your hair. Like it needs to be together, and I just didn't want to give that identity away, I think. And I maybe didn't have the balls to try it out either. I could have actually tried it out and see how it looks, but
maybe
I just
first.
didn't have the
But
balls
did they shave it before they did the transplant? And
I
did you see
did.
how it looked?
I said, I went there and so they got the clipper out and I said, what are you doing? They're like, we're going to have to shave it all off. I said, if anyone is going to shave my hair, it will be me. So I pick up the clipper and then shave it off.
Did you have
myself.
a look in the mirror?
I did.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's because they draw these lines on your head. That looked really sharp and looked great. I don't know if it was that, but I didn't actually see it like completely bald, as in without any lines on it. But I did like that line that they created. And I that makes me also think that I done the right thing.
Yeah.
As in having some hair there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Before the transplant, did you ever get into, I got two questions, sorry. Did you ever get into like the hair fibres when you're in here?
Hair fibres, I've never used it myself,
Right, okay.
but I used in some occasions for my clients.
Yeah,
For
but
weddings
not
and
yourself.
stuff. Not myself. Which I think for an occasion, they're doable. If you manage it right and hairspray it and not overly done it. It can look maybe 40% better than what it looks. But if you overdo it, it looks really obvious. I would never use it myself because they're creating that unnatural feeling that I don't like about it. But everything else, natural solutions like eating healthy, looking after yourself and trying to have less stressful life, more like a balanced life. Because I believe what you put in your body, how you live your life, shows off on your skin, in your hair, naturally. Where you have high stress life, I think it really affects the hair loss, where it will fasten it down. I really
I think
believe
it can maybe bring it on faster. Or, yeah, for sure. If you're already destined, I mean, it's already going to happen. But I think there's probably a link there for sure in terms of making it faster. So that's interesting. Interesting that you didn't do the fibre thing.
I'm all about natural.
Is that why the hair transplant appealed to you then? Because you felt like but it's my own hair. They're just moving it from one place to another.
Yeah, literally.
So it was like still yours.
Literally.
It wasn't putting something on it. That's interesting.
And the research was very intense.
Yeah.
Because all hair transplant I see that lots of clients of mine having it done, they have that straight line there, which, you know, like you can tell from, 50 meters that they're the hair transplants,
Yeah.
which I'm not about that. I just want it looking natural, you know. And even though that means they won't have a very sort of sharp line there, I just want it looking natural. I don't want it to look like I had a hair transplant.
Because in 20 years, you want it to look normal, not like a 12-year-old boy's hairline, right? Because that would be
literally, yeah. That's
bizarre.
the right way.
That's interesting. Okay, one last question. Sorry. It's interesting as well because you're in this industry, but there's a lot of, I've noticed a lot of like male figures in the barbering hair industry that are maybe like educators or whatever are actually bald. There's loads of them. But did you feel like your clients wouldn't take you, like, I don't know how to phrase it, like not take you seriously? They're like, why are you telling me how to have my hair when you don't even have hair, bro?
Yeah,
did you worry
I
about
know
that?
Exactly what you mean. No, I wasn't actually worried about that. I think it was more about the personality thing for me.
Yeah.
No, I know many sort of
Bald barbers. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're incredible barbers, I think. So no, that wasn't the worry at all, actually. No.
Yeah.
No.
So, how did you both feel after you went through with your decision? So after you'd had it done, so that initial first bit of where you were, how did you feel after you'd done it? After you'd shaved your hair off and after you'd had your hair transplant?
Right, let me go first on that one. Obviously, my head was really numb. But at the same time, when I looked of what they did and how they did it and stuff, I really saw like, wow, okay, that they like I literally have hairline, like, because obviously they plant the hair in, so you can actually see the hair. So it was like a straight line and full, and I'm like, really, like, I actually have hair now, and imagine all these growing now. I was really happy, really happy. It was slightly uncomfortable, obviously, with the sleep and everything else, but the feeling of it, just seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, that I'll have my hair back, where I can style in different ways and things. It just excited me, really.
You said as well you were apprehensive, right, or before you'd worked yourself up a bit, but then when you actually did it, it was like, oh, that wasn't even that bad.
Yeah, I was actually really worried, because what I was thinking was, if these guys get it wrong, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I'm stuck.
That's
with
for
this,
life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, with the consultation, the guy called Cynic, he was very good. I kept mentioning about natural hairline, and he said, look, relax. I am all about natural hairline.
Yeah.
And unless you're like forcing me to do a deadline, I would never do that. So that kind of comforted me immediately, and then went through with it, and it was so good. And the guys were they have like a head nurse or something, the head of the team. Halfway, they will come and check one by one with the thing, like if they planted it.
Oh, that's good.
That was so
Yeah.
incredible, taking so much care of you. It just felt right, I loved it.
Big relief.
Yeah, so much.
Yeah, same for me, really, but for like a different reason. I think one of the biggest, like, as soon as that day when I saw my hair falling out, one of the biggest things in my mind is I just thought I was going to look like really old, like ugly. Like, I can't explain it, but I had this image in my head of like how I was going to look, and it was not good. Like those like old weird mug shots of like criminals from like the 60s or something, right? Balding, like eating mustache even. I was like, that's me. I'm going to look like I'm 60 and I'm 25, right? And so I think one of the biggest things was just being bald, essentially, and then like looking in the mirror and going like, okay, I can totally if this is the worst look, I can totally handle this. And just, the weight of like the worry that left me after I'd done it was just like, that's what makes me do what I do today. Like, if I could have known how good I would have felt afterwards, back when I was freaking out about it, I would have paid like any amount to know that. Obviously you can't, but I think that's what prompted me to start talking about it online, to reassure guys, like, honestly, you can totally, I know you're freaking out, but you can totally handle this. and even feel better than you did before. You know, like obviously I wasn't that confident even when I had hair, because just starting to lose it like completely derailed me. So I must have been not as confident as I thought I was, you know. So then when you overcome that like challenge of like worrying about all that, you do recognize in yourself like, oh, maybe I can be more confident, or, you know, have higher self-esteem than I did even before.
Yeah.
So.
But you are very lucky. You have a great head shape. For
Yeah.
it. And not many people are blessed.
We
with
can't
that.
all be this handsome, right?
Yeah. And you know, like if I want to shave my head off, completely bald off, I know what my head shape at the back is really flat. And now taking that worry away from the receding hairline to me worrying about my head shape, I just couldn't, like, which one is worse?
But it's funny because you say you've got a, but that is a big thing. Again, loads of, I mean, my DMs are full. Like, what if you have a bad head shape? But what is the definition of a bad head shape? So obviously you've got your worry that you've got like a flat, you know, as you describe it. But I don't think anyone would look at you and think the same. And that's not to say that you don't.
Yeah.
Or like, I'm not saying that your fear is wrong, but I personally really feel like that is just, it's another one to add to the list of fears. You know, back then I couldn't grow any sort of facial hair, and I was like, great, so I'm going to look ill, you know, because I've got no beard, no hair, sweet. Like, I'm just going to look like I'm sick, you know. That was another one. Everyone worries about the beard thing, you know, the head shape.
But it does. I think, like, so like...
But you have a head-shaped head.
Say again?
You have a head-shaped head. I wouldn't think there's anything abnormal about it.
That's because maybe my fade drops down a bit to make this part look a bit more complete. But if I would have shaved it all off, that illusion wouldn't be there. Like, see how I drop my fade there? That automatically gives you an illusion that this part looks darker and more complete, where you have a stronger jawline because this part you left slightly darker, so your jaw looks stronger than what it actually is. So I reckon, you know, it is very challenging for people out there. I think for me, this was majorly
Big
challenging.
worry about the head shape.
Because I would worry all the time about like my head. And there is some people out there, like I have a lot of clients where they have very flat heads at the back, which we build up lots of hair to complete the shape. So we wouldn't go too high.
To like round it out.
Yeah, exactly. Just to create that complete look. But going bald, like, I don't know. I feel like head shapes like yours is few. Jason Statham.
But what is my head shape?
Round head shape. Yours is like, you know.
So I think we have the same. Like I got my head shaped. So's yours. Like not trying to be difficult.
No. I agree what you're saying.
Yeah.
But you are actually saying that like doesn't matter what head shape it is. Head shape is a head shape. That's what you're saying, right? But in reality, it isn't, because we are like.
In your reality.
Look, we live in a society, and there is some facts about how we lived in the society over the years, where emperors had a certain hairstyle to make them feel in power, where the warriors had long, shabby created because they're warriors. And I'm talking thousands of years ago, that hairstyle image and the message was around. And without this guy's head shape being right and going bald, I would advise him to try everything you can first to rebuild your hair.
Well, keep hold of it, right?
Keep hold of it,
Yeah.
or if you can't, you know, after a certain stage, the next stage is a hair transplant.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to do that, then the last option that I would say, shave it off. But try everything you can to hold on to your hair, because it's your identity. You know,
Yeah,
even though I love your message, like it works with you so well, and I'm all there for people that it actually works. Like there's many people out there that it will work really well.
Yeah.
But there's some those warriors who worry about that. They have a reason to worry, and I think they're right to worry about that, because one single comment from a friend saying, your flat head, like I don't think this works, will ruin it for them. You know,
Well, they can get stuck in their head on that.
Can,
Yeah,
you
for
know,
sure,
just
for
like
sure.
their self-esteem will go, and you know.
Did you ever have that?
I did a couple of times, and
that's speaking from personal experience.
Yeah, exactly. I think it makes a big difference, you know.
So I hear you, but I mean, if we like to take it down on deeper level. So my whole thing, yeah, maybe it is easy for me because I think I look good, yeah. But so the say for example the position you're in there. Say you do have a client and they're losing their hair, and you go, dude, the head is all wrong for bald. You need to do whatever you can to keep hold of this hair. And say, for example, he's then doing that and he's thinking, shit, like, okay, even my barber's saying I'm going to look bad if I go bald. The level of like worry then that they've got to do everything to keep hold of that. And maybe a transplant isn't on the cards for them, or maybe they don't want to take the medication, or maybe it doesn't work because it doesn't work for everyone. You know, maybe they go to a dodgy clinic and they mess up the hairline, or maybe the drugs, you know, they just don't respond well to them. Not even talking about side effects or anything, it's literally just not effective on them. Then I feel like that guy's in an awful position where he's going to be, like you said, that's going to really be playing on his mind. And I'm not saying that that guy needs to be like delusional, like, oh yeah, bro, just, you've got a bad head shape, but just get over it. I'm not saying that. But I think if we look at what motivates us to do anything about the hair loss, it's those like fears, right? Like, I don't know what it was for you. You said you got kids and stuff, right? But for a lot of guys, obviously it's, I'm single, I'm never going to get laid. Yeah. I'm never going to get laid again if I lose my hair. Like, people are going to laugh at me in the office. You know, the list goes on, right? For me, I literally thought my fellow students were going to notice it, and I was going to be so embarrassed in front of everyone. Like, yeah, I'm going bald. So like, these are the things that we worry about, right? Then we do, but if you confront it, like my whole thing is like, if you actually go bald and you get out in life, so let's just say your list of worries, right, I need to get a missus. That's like top of most guys' list. Sure. Say for example, the guy, even with the like bad head shape, he does it. You know, he's like, right, you know what, I'm tired, he does what I did, tired of worrying about this, I'm going to shave it off, just give it a go. He does it, maybe he's like, oh, do I have a bad head shape, don't I? But let's say he just goes out on a night out, meets someone, that all goes well. Does that guy then still need to worry about the shape of his head? So I would argue that once you like face those fears, right, that are like motivating us to do anything, or like his mates don't say anything about his head shape, they're like, oh, he's dealt with it, whatever. Then really his problem's solved. You know, his balding problem is solved. Because for me, I just believe it is all about that anxiety. You know, like you said, maybe one of the things for you was, oh, I don't think I've got a good head shape for it. You know, so then you were motivated to like, obviously keep hold of the hair. You know, same for other guys. But once you face it, it's done. Like in an alternate reality, maybe you would have gone, oh, I met that Harry guy. You know what? Let me just try this first. Shave it off. You look in the mirror and you're like, okay, this is all right. The missus likes it. I like it. Problem solved. In a sense.
I know what you mean, but I think, like, you know, when I told you about naturally getting my hair transplants, thinking about getting my hair transplants, my natural reaction was that I think many people out there are actually worried about the judgments. Because
of getting the surgery.
Being a man up, if you're receding, shave it all off, where a lot of people put that pressure on them, and they will never actually man up to have the transplant because they can't face it.
Yeah, it's seen as like a feminine thing to do or whatever.
You know, like, oh, you know, like that was my worry when my friends was commenting about the other friends.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck, like, you know, why are you guys like inside me?
Yeah, I would agree. It's in some ways lose-lose because whatever side you go, you're probably going to get ripped in some way, I think. There'd be certain people. No, for example, you're saying.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Will say, why did you get surgery? Like, don't be a pussy, or I don't know if I'm going to say that right. Yeah. Or you shave it, and then another mate will be like, oh, why have you done that? It looks terrible. You know, it's like either way. Like, there's.
You can't make everyone happy. That's right. But I think either way, I feel like looking at you might be wrong, you might be different in terms of how you feel about this, but the best I felt in my life where I had the full hair with this style, with my outfit, as in like when I was going out for a date, for example, or anything that I was doing in public, that I felt 100% myself. Right now, I got nothing to worry about. Now I can focus on what I'm doing, you know, either chatting up a girl or anything. But when that starts reducing with my hairline and going bald and all that stuff, all that anxiety starts kicking in. And I think without hair, I just couldn't deal with it. I know many people couldn't deal with it.
Yeah, no, for sure. There's definitely, it's either side is definitely not for everyone, 100%. No, there are guys that do need that, or even just guys that would, you know, maybe there's like 20-year-olds that are like, I just need it for a bit longer. And then maybe 10 years down the road, they are like, oh, it's fine now, you know, when they've got their life, however it is, you know, it's I always use the word like journey, because it is a journey, and it's a journey to like get comfortable with yourself, your image, your appearance, all of it. So I do agree with that. It's not one size fits all or whatever.
It is. I mean, I have been working with lots of clients where they've been receding in certain places, and we always trying to make it work. Not covering it, obviously, or trying to make a comb over or anything like that, making them look not right. But working with the lines as natural as possible to make it minimize. Still there, but naturally, so working as well as we can. But I reckon there's a lot of people worried about that judgment of not getting the hair transplants. I think that is a big thing. Even like I've seen some of your supporters and followers that you share sometimes. The guy's hair is receding, I can see that, but it's not actually that bad.
No.
That there was one guy actually, I was actually looking and I could actually make this work, as in the hairstyle. I feel like, and I completely sympathize with them in the mental stage where they should be in a certain level. They're like, you know what, that's really bothering me, and you are really empowering them and shaving it all off.
Yeah, they got to confront the anxiety, basically.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. But what I would want to understand is that where they're actually heads at 100%, as in without them seeing you or listening to your empowering, or me doing that, where their heads at, as in, I wish I could, make this work, or I would just shave it off. That would be such an interesting thing to see.
I think there's actually like studies on it and stuff. So like the severity of the hair loss doesn't correlate to the amount of distress the guy feels. So like even me, like my hair loss wasn't that bad, like bad as in physically, or some might argue that your hair loss wasn't that bad.
Sure, yeah.
You know, a lot of guys that are going to get transplants, maybe just a bit of receding hair, it's not bad physically, but they feel worried about it enough to go and get a hair transplant. Or in my case, I felt worried about it enough to shave it off, to confront that and do something about it. It is interesting, but I think that what you're describing there just goes to show how much it is really what's going on. Because I'm sure you probably have clients as well that are really going and they're like, I don't care, like it is what it is, like I'm a man of 30 whatever, like men lose their hair, is what it is.
But to me, like as a barber, like I've been in the industry for a long time, and I've worked so many different journeys with so many different clients, where we start from one place to get them to feel right about themselves. Like either is a journey for 6 months to grow their hair out, to get the right sense into them that they feel like this is me.
Image.
From that to shaving it off, for me, it's just such a big contrast to, what I mean? Yeah. It's just like, because I always like, as in my industry as a barber, and it's always been, how do we make this work? And how do we fit this hairstyle into him? Or what is his best? How can I make him feel himself 100%?
It's interesting that, because we definitely, I totally get again what you're trying to say, but differ in a sense, like my thought process on it. And again, because yeah, a lot of barbers, thought you'd bring up this point of like, you know, we can work with it, we can still, and I think I get a lot of guys that will go to their barber and they'll be like, do you think I should shave it off? And then the barber will be like, no, here, we can do this, we can do that, you can, but then they're like thinking, oh, does that mean it's going to look bad if I shave it off? Does that mean I shouldn't get rid of it? Like, you know, I appreciate what you're saying about not pushing it too far to like make it look ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? Like where it's really like one gust of wind and it's all over. But going down that road, because they're obviously going into the barber like, please, can you just do what you can? And that is, for a lot of it, is what they want, because they want to feel like protected from that. You know, they use their hair to like protect it. I was doing the same thing on top, like always playing around with it to try to like make it thicker. I think the head shave thing, like you said, when you say it's a drastic, like to go from like even long hair to like do it gradually, which was, yeah, what I did, right? I took like that step in between. I think it's a good avenue for some, but yeah, for others, I think they need to know, right, worst case scenario, if I shave this off, can I handle it? And they just grip and rip, you know?
And also, I think I would be worrying about what kind of a message I would give out. Like, I have a very strong beard that, you know, I had it quite long back in the day and stuff. Without hair, I can look very aggressive and intimidating, which, you know, I'm not that guy at all. Where I had it before, like at the airports and stuff, they will always stop me, put me in the red zone, you know, search me or whatever. I was like, oh, first time I was shocked, but then I got used to it. But that made me think, like, what kind of an image and the message that I'm giving out here that make these people actually thinking that I'm suspicious. And it's the same when you're out and about, right? Where I have a very strong beard. If I shave my head off as well, like those MMA fighters, like Habib, I'm like, you know, I would look really intimidating.
It didn't fit with how you felt your identity was.
No, exactly. Which, and I'm sure a lot of people would have that kind of...
Definitely people have that worry, for sure. Yeah, they say they feel like they're losing their identity, even like losing their youth, all of it, you know, all of it. It's...
Yeah, and that as well, the youth, isn't it? Like, it's, I think we're talking to you, Tony, didn't we, today about it, where it just feels like it's not giving up, but for me, it felt that way. Like,
see, it's very interesting because, yeah, we got totally... the only thing I feel when you're giving up, the only thing you're giving up is the worry, the trying to, you know, the maintaining it, the kind of weight on your shoulders. That's, in my opinion, that's all the stuff you're giving up. But I very much view it as you're progressing, you're moving on, you know, I even see it as upgrading in many ways. But it's very interesting, you know, how that's...
giving up all these hairstyles and
For sure. But, you know... 20, 30, 40, I see that as just part of being a bloke, really, you know, being a man. Not like a man as in like man up, but because I see it's just such a natural thing, you know?
Yeah, but also the wonky teeth is natural as well, or your eyesight, or your cosmetic surgery, or, you know, there's a lot of natural things.
Say like, oh, you just brush your teeth, so what is it to just like take a pill or whatever?
Yeah, like people go and put braces on their teeth, or they go and have a cosmetic surgery on their nose, or girls get their boobs done, you know, like why can't hair be one of them?
So I think...
As a natural thing.
For sure. Sure, we're using the word natural there, but it's a hair loss. The way I see it is like terms of like, you know, brushing your teeth, keeping in control of the hygiene and whatnot. Though if you don't do those things, they have direct, like, physical consequences, right?
I wasn't talking about the cleansing. I was more talking about the braces.
Oh, so just like any sort of cosmetic procedures, right? Okay.
I think it's just one of them for me. Right. I feel like after having the surgery, and this is for me, it's not a big deal anymore. Yeah. It was before. So as you are saying, that a lot of people are really worried about should I shave it or not. And I feel like there's a lot of people worried about would I have a hair transplant because they're worried about the whole process. I had a lot on my DMs as well. Is it painful? And is it this? How was it? You know, how many hours was it? So many questions. And you can really see people are interested, but there is a worry around it, right? Yeah. So, yeah, it's really interesting, really. Really interesting.
It's quite... who is like, shave it off,
Those like I call those like surface level benefits to it. Okay. You know, it simplifies things. You don't worry about, you know, how should I have it.
Your maintenance should be very high too. You probably have to shave every week. Otherwise, it will get thick again, no?
Once a week, but obviously most of the time you're doing it yourself. Yeah. You know, in the shower, sometimes I'll do it, you know, 5-10 minutes. There's not that daily sort of like upkeep with it. But again, I call those surface level because for me, again, the real benefit is making peace with it so that you like never worry about it again. You know, like I've lived a life, confronted it completely. So hair loss is something that it's not even, obviously for me I'm different because this is my life's work now, is helping other guys get there, right? But for most guys, again, the biggest compliment they can give to me is like, bro, I watched your stuff for like a year, shaved it off, and it's literally a non-issue. Don't ever think about it again. Goodbye. And they never talk to me again because they're just getting on with their life, you know? I think that's the biggest benefit for me.
Well, I really, again, taking it back to somewhere else, but you know, sometimes we get clients with the David Beckham's picture.
Yes.
I want this. And you look at him like, right, you know, it's never going to be this. And I feel like, because I'm giving you a compliment again, you're a great looking guy.
Yeah.
And you're rocking the baldness.
Yeah.
And do you think that a lot of people look at you online and think, I can rock this as well? Just thinking that they might look
I hope
as
so.
good as...
I know what you're trying to say, but I hope so, because they will, but in their own way, You know, there's this debate, right? It's like, if I go bald, I'm going to look uglier, right? Or like, I'm handsome now, but if I go bald, I'll look ugly. But handsome, ugly, whatever you are, doesn't wash off in the shower, you know? It's like, if you're handsome before, you'll be handsome after. If you're quote unquote like what society calls ugly before, all right, you'll be ugly after. Like, it's not going to make a difference, you know? Yeah. Genuinely. And so I actually hope that does give guys a bit of hope. Like, he looks good. Maybe I can look my own version of good. I'm not, do you know what I mean? I'm not Jason Statham. Like, that's like top tier, you know? Looking good, bald, you know? But still, maybe I'll strive to that.
You look very...
Without a doubt, yeah. Like and I will say as well, I think for a lot of it, when I first started my YouTube channel, this was something that was like my biggest secret for like a year. Do you know what I mean? I didn't want to, I was in a relationship back then, and, you know, anytime the subject, I would talk about it in a way where I was like frustrated, you know, and I became like a very unattractive person because I would, you know, my partner at the time, maybe they would say like, oh, have you seen this? Or, you know, it'd be something to do with like hair fibers or whatever, for example. And I'd be very snappy and very like, because I didn't want to address the issue. You know, it was like, it was such a negative thing. And it made me a very like horrible, the insecurity of it. And so I think, you know, I didn't want to talk to anyone about it. I didn't want to ever have it mentioned. You know, like I said, I was doing the most to like hide it. Whereas I think, I'll finish that point and then we'll get on to you, because I think this probably helped you a bit. Where was I going with that? So I think when I first started the YouTube channel, a lot of me sharing my story was a bit of that like therapeutic, like cathartic way to like, finally I can talk about this and like get it off my chest, and then it's not this thing that I need to ever feel embarrassed about. Whether I think it probably helped you doing the hair transplant like very publicly and things like that, because that, I'm sure that helped you be like, this is no shame, this is what it is, like I'm proud that I've done this. Whereas maybe if you tried to make it like a secretive thing, do you know what I mean? Like your hat's on, like don't want anyone in work to know that I've had this done. Then it's like this shameful thing, which again, it shouldn't be, you know, whatever side you're on. it shouldn't be a shameful like step.
Absolutely.
Same with guys that shave it off and maybe they're wearing a hat for like the first few weeks because they're very unsure of it. Absolutely not. You gotta, the best way, whatever avenue you go down, you gotta own it 100%, and that will set, the truth will set you free, truly. But the point I was gonna make on you was, because it was like gradual and you worked with it and you weren't doing all this stuff to hide it. I'm sure for you, you slowly got actually quite comfortable, like more comfortable than the average guy maybe, who's like, you know, I don't know if you have any clients in here like that, but very much the hat slave, I call them, you know, the hat, constantly wearing the hat, you know, the hair fibers are in, and they, you know, maybe they want to book an appointment like first thing in the morning or last thing in the evening because, you know, they don't want to be in a busy shop. Like, there's levels to it, you know, there's levels to it. And I'm sure probably for you, it was a very gradual thing, helped you a lot with it being quite comfortable, open. It's not this big secret. Whereas I was I was the opposite. I went way far on your question there, but yeah, the whole like, now me, like, I guess really trying to promote like the maximum positivity with it, 100% like fuels me. I mean, I did smash a brownie in Pret earlier, you know, guiltily, but then I went for a walk around the park, you know, instead. But yeah, I try to be on top of like those things to encourage other guys to do the same, for sure.
You don't even need to go that far really to 50 years. If you just go up 10, 15 years, where I think hair transplant was a really secretive thing to do. Like when Rooney first had it done, he was hiding in places like, you know, no one, you know, he didn't want anyone to know about his hair transplants because, like you said, it was like a, you know, in society taboo. Oh, hair transplants, you know, why do you even need that for? Just man up. But now, I think like where man is going is incredible. Either you're shaving or having a hair transplant, they are more open-minded, and they are even like with extreme hairstyles that people go, you know, offices, they're going a bit shorter, getting out of that stereotype society feeling, and being more open-minded is incredible, I think. And now everyone is open to do. I think what it is, right, for me, what I think, people need to get to know themselves. I think that's the whole point. What do you want from life? As in your appearance, your image, and, you know, it is very important for you. Look, the clients we have that come here, they love their hair. And they spend lots of money here for that reason. And I feel like that I would to always to work with their receding hairlines or make them feel comfortable about it. And if so, send them to get hair transplants. Like if that is going to make them feel themselves 100% like how I am feeling, if they're on the same page, then they should. But if they are like, I know also that some people just like to get the hair off their heads. They don't really care so much about how it looks. Shorter, just shorter. I think those people where don't really maybe care too much about how the hair looks and they're receding, they might be more inclined to just, do you know what, I'll shave it off. I don't care, it's only hair at the end of the day. But I think all comes down to you getting to know yourself and what you want and what you feel comfortable towards that. Is either shaving it off or trying to work with your hair, get on minoxidil or finasteride. If that don't work, go on transplants, and nothing works, then you go back to shaving it off. But it all comes down to what you really want as a person and what message you want to give, what's your identity.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. It's definitely look within. That's what I had to do the same thing, you know. Can I handle this? Can't I? What's important to me? Where do I want to be in 10 years? And you'll come to your answer.
There's no right or wrong about how you feel. At the end of the day, we work 10 hours a day here trying to make people feel good. Either if it's a head shape with a razor or long scissors trim or with a beard trim, we're all trying to make people feel good about themselves. And I think that's the main thing, isn't it?
100%, yeah.
Yeah. I still have a long way to go. It's only been 3 months. So I think about a year in, so I still have another 9 months to see the actual potential results. So, but so far so good.
Okay. Harry, did it yours?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's slightly different. I mean, I've looked way better than I worried I was going to look, right, before I did it. And I think, just for me, again, like the way I feel, maybe this is for you as well, like you feel better than you actually maybe thought that you were going to. Yeah, and I felt the same. Like I couldn't believe how good I felt after I did it, and just how, like, I mean, empowered, the word empowered's a little bit cringe. Like I did feel.
What do you think? Even the way you walk changes.
Yeah, no,
you know,
sure,
like your posture is up, and you know,
Head
like
up high,
yeah.
shoulders are back.
Yeah.
Whereas before, you know, the thing that actually I got to tell you this, because it's like the moment I decided, all right, I have to change this, was like after like a year of like the worry building. I was literally walking down the street, heading back from university. This is mad, and there was a woman walking towards me, like an attractive woman. All right, I'll be honest, and she went to like look at me, right? And I literally caught myself like avoiding eye contact, and I like stared at the ground, because my first thing was like, oh, is she going to notice that I'm losing my hair? And that was my first thought. And I remember like getting my phone out and like trying to like distract myself. Stopped in my tracks, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, what have I become? Like, I couldn't believe it. And that was the thing that made me do it then. I was like, right, I'm not living my life like this. Because I was never like that before, do you know what I mean? I was always quite confident. And I was like, this whole hair loss thing has completely changed who I am. And I'm not living my life like that. And so when I actually did it, you know, I got that back and more. And I was just like, okay, this is fantastic. So it really, really worked for me. Yeah.
Right, people noticed, obviously, I was back to work on the day 5, so there was a lot of scarring and stuff they did. But the people I haven't seen for a couple of months, who come back for a haircut or catching up with friends, they just thought I just buzzed my hair off it like number 3. Mm-hmm. And that was really good feeling, where it's almost like nothing happens, and just back to my track, you know, in my life, and just hair is growing. Not that I'm ashamed of the hair transplant, but you know, I cut 15 haircuts a day, and when I had the hair transplant, I was talking about the whole experience about 15 times a day. Not again kind of thing, you know. But yeah, first few weeks it was noticeable majorly. After that, it calmed down. Like, you can't really tell now I had a hair transplant.
With like really long hair.
Really long hair.
Yeah. I used the word journey earlier, right?
Okay.
And so, you know, that first time when I shaved it, that was like, I'd say 98%
Okay.
life-changingly confident. But there was 2 reasons that like made me do that. I had never been in the position where my balding was like so obvious, you know, where people were like, whoa. And so I was like, I've got to do it. I've got to know, I've just got to like, it was like the final 2%, you know, I need to live my life with like the most outrageous balding hair. And so I was like, you know what, I tied it in with like a fitness journey. I was like, I'm going to get in shape, and I'm not going to cut my hair until I'm in the shape I want.
Oh, wow.
So that was what started it.
Okay.
And that was like 5 months, and it was already getting quite outrageously long. And by this time, like, this had all gone. And then I was so like enjoying it, almost like a little bit of like, I was just enjoying it. And I was like, right, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to go a whole year. And obviously that was like COVID era and stuff. So like loads of the things were going on. Yeah, and in the end, it like literally got to the point where I could like tie it up in like a little like back knot. It was mad. And then I thought, right, it's another, you know, I can shave it off on the channel, but I learned a lot in that. I mean, it was outrageous. I don't know if you'll cut any like clips in with this or whatever, but it was very long, very like, and I thought, you know what, if I can literally, I remember going to like nightclubs, like stag do's, I went on holiday with that hair, and I was like, right, if I handle this, then this is like, it's done. You know, my journey is done. So I think for a lot of guys, they've already lived in that world where like people know it's obviously really going. Wanted that, whereas for me, I very much went from like nobody noticed to like now I'm shaving my head.
Yeah.
And I was like, I feel like I've skipped a little step, so I had to like grow it out and like have the balding hair. People were like, what the hell have you done? Like, why have you done that? Because nobody knew. Like, no, because I was just like, one, it wasn't that bad, you know. Like I said, I didn't want anyone behind me. Like, I was quite tall, so like taller than, I was living in China at the time, so I was like taller than most people. But I would literally, this is mad, I would literally got down a little bit, so the crown was like maximum like elevation. And these are the little things, how it was like impacting my life, do you know what I mean? Crazy things like that. So nobody ever noticed.
Okay.
And then I just had to tell people like, yeah, I was losing my hair and I was freaking out about it, so I've shaved it all off. And then they were like, all right. I wasn't like, oh, I just thought it would look cool. I was like, no, I was literally constantly worried about this. And then they were like, oh, you look, and people did say, oh, it looks better when you've got hair. And I was like, yeah, maybe it does. You know, maybe it does look better when I got hair. But I don't feel better because I'm just always worrying about that bald spot. Kind of like the identity thing, you know. I was like, that's not me anymore. So you're just gonna have to get used to this.
Allowed you to become a better version of yourself.
In a way,
really,
mate. Yeah, honestly, in a way, it was like that. I mean, we are going back a little while now, so it's hard to like really remember that. But in a way, yeah, I was. I did have to like come to terms with that. You know, this youthful. You know, because I was out in Asia. I was very much, you know, clean shaven. The sort of like. Look, and I was like, no, that's not me anymore, and I did have to come to terms with that, you know. But I didn't feel like that was a bad thing. I very much took that like evolution on, you know, and I had to. But yeah, that was a thing, you know. That really was a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. Do you?
I definitely do.
Okay.
I definitely do. I again, for the same reason where my friend had it done and the judgment literally postponed it for me for another 5 years, I would say. If it wasn't for that, I reckon I would have had it done earlier.
Harry,
Not for me. I think it happened at the right time.
Was at the right
time.
It
happened in the right way. Yeah, it was time for sure. Yeah, just when the inspiration hit.
Do you admit?
I don't even know what that is. Like, everyone asks me that, or like, you know, if you could get it back, would you want it back? I think that it's done so much for me, and I get so much out of like every time a guy messages me and they're like, mate, this is like totally changed my life. I wouldn't want to change that for anything. I think I needed it to happen. Like, genuinely, I think I needed it to happen because I obviously wasn't that confident before. You know, I think I did wrap a lot of my confidence and self-worth into that image of myself, which is why I think I had such a hard time dealing with that changing, that I needed to develop like what I would consider to be like true, genuine confidence in myself, which is, and I wouldn't have had that if I'd have just cruised along with this like little pretty boy like image. You know, especially being out in China, like people would like take pictures of you and stuff just because you're foreign, you know. But I was like, oh, like look at, you know, like I really got off on that. But I don't think that did anything for me, like myself. Like for you with starting the business, like having that a success, that does a lot for you as a whole, right?
Yeah,
As like your whole, like where you get your confidence from. And for me, like, I don't even know, couldn't even tell you where my confidence came from, like before, you know?
But I feel like you doing that to, obviously I didn't know you before you shaved your hair off. And but listening to your stories to now, I think you did go above society.
Yeah.
You know, that judgment of society, or
Yeah.
us just, maybe it's not even the judgment of society, it's us just feeling like we might be judged by society.
for sure, yeah.
I think you've gone above that
Yeah,
for
for
yourself. I think you should be very proud of yourself, because not many people will be able to beat that. And
No, it's not easy.
it's not easy at all. And I think it's a massive achievement, mate. Massive achievement. Yeah, it's like you're rocking the board look, and I think like either with, I'm just generally talking about hair, no hair, whatever, you find yourself,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, that's
That's
a good way to put it.
that's what actually is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like yeah, amazing, man.
Thank you.
So great. I know that you've had a hair transplant for 3 months. When is it going to be at its peak?
A year in. Yeah. That I might do. So my crown part has always been the weakest part of my hair, which is the most difficult part when they do the hair transplant process, because the blood flow is a lot lower there. So yes, I might need to do another transplants there in a year's time, but I want to see how it looks first, because if it's only a little bit of a weakness showing there, I'll be fine with it. Because I know they told me already that the top part, crown part, is never going to be 100%. It's too wide, and I've used most of my donor, and they took some of my beard as well. So I've only got probably another couple of times, which is not going to be enough to cover the top part anyway. So I will make that decision in a year's time when it on its peak, but I might have to if I need to. Yeah. That is a very interesting question, actually. I think that, again, I would work on yourself, that I would tell myself as a person, get to know yourself, because then I would have made all those decisions at the time, because we are so living with the society, and you kind of sometimes feel pulled in different directions, how the fashion is going, or how you should be and how the appearance should be, where I would make that decision myself of how I want to look and how I would feel 100% myself, what anyone else think of me. And I think, yeah, I would advise myself, the young myself, to get to know yourself and work on yourself.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think from like hearing your views on, you know, that friend who made like a negative comment about someone getting a hair transplant, it's like that's what you're kind of referring to a little bit in terms of like focus on yourself. So if I want a hair transplant, I'll just go and get a hair transplant, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, it's almost the same, but it's like if I want to just go bald, like I'm just going to go bald. Like there's nothing like that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And I think, God, that is a very interesting question. If I think back, because it's hard, because you have to also have that experience to have that way of thinking. You know, same like me. You have to go through that to then know what you know,
It's
right?
a mindset.
Yeah, but I think I would have honestly if I told myself anything, I would have been like, mate, just relax. Like, you're going to be able to handle this. It's not going to ruin your life like you think it's going to. Like, just relax.
Yeah.
I think it's honestly as simple as I would put it for myself. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people watching this that has like more of an eye opener now to the insides of losing your hair and shaving it off, or having a hair transplant. So you never know, guys. You might be helping more people right now.
Exactly, Harry. Thanks for coming
you, mate.
and joining our
Yeah, really
podcast.
good.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having
It
me.
was very inspirational to talk to you about see the other side, and you should, like I said, you should be very proud of yourself.
Thank you, mate. I appreciate it. Yeah,
It's amazing.
interesting to know, like, despite the kind of different avenues, definitely there's that, like, it's motivated from the same, like, with the same motivators,
Yeah.
you know, like, look inside, you know, find yourself, or all those good things. So, no, pleasure having a chat, pleasure to share my story.
No,